Good morning, everybody. I need to check on my end what's working, what's not working. I have like 1,000 different tabs opened up on ends of different browsers. So maybe it's going to be buffering a little bit. And if it does, it does. Okay. Let me see if everything is working. Test, test, test. I think it is working. Okay. Those who are celebrating holidays, especially in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. Um, and to the rest of the world, happy upcoming December. December is going to be quite nice. So let's cover the essentially the product roadmap and the use cases that came to my attention in the last week. First of all, I would like to announce that we have successfully launched. Here's a disclaimer that we have successfully launched CASPER 5.0 testnet. Good morning, Mr. IDK. 5.0 CASPER testnet. So we have 4 validators on the testnet so far. That was the initial validator set. Thanks to the development team for being very, very timely on this. Anybody can go ahead and redeploy, essentially upgrade from Casper 4.0 to Casper 5.0. How to do that? Let me share how to do that. We gotta go PowerPoint. We gotta go here. So on this screen, Cosmos published the Casper 5.0 blog post. It's on the blog already. So the commands are actually quite easy. So launching Casper testnet 5.0, all that it is required of you guys for every single node that you have is do cd this command, then do the scripts. Actually don't even have to do that. 1 second. You don't even have to do that. Here we go. Existing full nodes migrating to testnet. That's what you need to do. So yeah, cd ghost I, update your ghost eyes, and then then go back to the directory of ghost node, proceed with the scripts, hard reset, I know what I'm doing, say yes to everything, and then you should be good to go, right? That's essentially 2 commands. It shall take you, I mean, if you level 1, right, like it should take you like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on the speed of your machine. If you have a very, very low machine requirement right now, like a Raspberry Pi or something, then it may take you up to an hour. If you have a normal machine, it shall take you 5 to 10 minutes. Everybody else, like level 2, shall take the same 5-10 minutes. Level 3s, of course, will take some time. Then, I mean, just to make sure, just run that journal CTL -F -C ghost node just to make sure that you're syncing. The telemetry will be updated sometime this weekend / early this week. Same thing with the Ghost DAO. The Ghost DAO so far is so the kind of the metadata is being connected to all of the bridge does work. I personally breached yesterday. The breach went through without any issues. So let's try to break it this time as well, just to see what's going on. But yeah, so that will take, so the update of the telemetry and the update of the Ghost DAO, that stuff will take sometime from this weekend to this upcoming week, and we shall be good to go. Good morning, Lorenzo. So we're done. I mean, this is good. Unfortunately, we had to kind of relaunch it. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? That's good that it's happening on the testnet as opposed to happening on the mainnet. Again, the lesson is chill your nose next time correctly, and also start watching your RPC endpoints. Cosmos put a really, really nice post on whales yesterday, or for some of you guys early today in the morning. So please read that post. Okay, so that's that. Now, the next thing that I would like to address is some of the use cases that I've been thinking about regarding Ghost. And this week has been yet another week. It's been almost 6 weeks now. Yeah, 6 weeks, almost 7 weeks actually, of me fighting with Web 2 systems. Not Web 2.5, Web 2. And it's just insane. Like, it's just not getting better. It's just, I mean, I didn't really even realize how shitty it is. Like, I thought it was shitty, but then when you personally, like, attacked by it from every single angle and perspective that input, like, impacts your daily, day-to-day operations, is just a different, situation. But, again, of course, like, if you just live a normal life, you go to McDonald's, Starbucks, whatever, go to restaurants, go to the gym, whatever, and just pay your subscriptions with your debit or credit cards, I mean, you should be fine. If you are a little bit above that, you need to do some international wires. You need to do some multi-bank type of structures, let alone trusts. Dealing with some taxes. Like, it's just becoming a fucking nightmare. There are no solutions, no out-of-the-box solutions. Everything is custom, and custom either costs a lot, or you're just not going to be able to find professionals if you are having a budget. So it's just like a pain in the ass. And then the systems just don't work for me at all, and it doesn't work. Like, they don't work for anybody. So the more I'm fighting with this Web 2 system, the more I'm realizing how awesome Ghost is. And kind of, I'll go back on what we spoke about last week, how we shall be focusing on level 1s and level 2s. And I'm more and more understanding that should be the focus. And level 3s and level 4 people, great to have them. If you guys are level 3 or level 4, great to have you guys. But you need to quickly upgrade to level 2s, or not, because we just won't have time. Like, we just simply won't have time. I'll prove it to you guys later today. Well, at least demonstrate my vision on that, my realizations. And the more I'm thinking about kind of, like, the more I'm thinking about stuff, the more I'm like, okay, so let's cut through the bullshit. Like, what do we do? Okay, we have all this tech. We have Ghost DAO, we have Ghost Chain, we have all these, the bridge in, bridge out, all these, like, weird freaking features. Like, what the hell do we do? And the best way to respond to that question is to go through, what do these projects do? So let me maybe make it bigger if I can. Yeah, I can. Yeah, so an important index that I'll take advantage of and comment on, CMC20. That's a CoinMarketCap 20 index DTF. I'm assuming that's decentralized trade fund, right? ETF is exchange trade fund. This is like probably decentralized trade fund or something like that. They just came out last week. Well, at least I noticed it just last week. So apparently this is like a fund comprised of the top 20 cryptos by CMC, by CoinMarketCap. So that's going to be very relevant for one of the use cases. But if you're going to go through use cases that these projects offer, so Bitcoin is the most decentralized use case. Okay, fine. Ethereum, sure. Like, we keep commenting on these two, so that, kind of understood. Tether. So the use case of Tether and USDC, despite those both being Web 2.5, is access to the dollar from emerging countries. If you're in the US, you don't really need that. I mean, you need that maybe for faster settlement instead of dealing with fucking banks, which is absolutely becoming more and more insane, like absolutely unusable. Well, okay, fine. How about you get some Tether and your settlement is going to be, within a minute, right? So you don't have to wait 72 hours for the transaction to fail and your account to be locked, and then you have to unlock it. God, and if you're gonna be lucky if you are able to unlock it. Otherwise, you have to personally kind of visit the bank. It's crazy, it's absolutely crazy. So maybe these do have use cases, but again, like, which one has a better use case? Tether, Circle, or say DAI? In the best kind of in good old days of DAI when it was decentralized. because that is the same exposure to dollar, right? So from emerging countries. Okay. So XRP has zero fucking utility from Web3 perspective. Why? Well, enterprises do not need to be more transparent. Like, we can be saying that yes, they do need to be transparent, but like, let's cut through the bullshit. They don't need that, right? Like, good luck telling Google. So look at a Magnificent Seven, any one of those stocks, uh, Nvidia or Google or Facebook or Meta, right? Like, they don't need anything. Like, they have so much fucking cash. And the reason I've been watching this amazing podcast, the reason why these stocks, right, those Magnificent Seven, have so much market cap is not because they're producing a lot. It's because they have been unfairly benefited by the passive investing through 401ks, right, and through kind of major asset management funds. So it's the whole kind of, flywheel, lobbied flywheel, how if you own one of those, major stocks, you get disproportional amount of liquidity, and thus the valuations are through the roof, while you don't really add too much value. So Facebook does not need to be more transparent. Google does not need to be more transparent. They are the monopolies, right? Like, the monopolies do whatever the fuck they want, right? They don't need anything, right? So you go to XRP, which supposedly represents the banks, and then you have, a couple of banks and a couple of insurance companies that are top 20, top 50, members of the S&P 500, and you tell them, hey, how about you, Goldman Sachs, how about you become a little bit more transparent? Who is asking? Who is talking here? Who are you? Why do I need to be more transparent? So all this like, oh, I'm XRP, I'm for enterprise. It's not what Web3 was about. This is no fucking use case here. It's just a money laundering machine for corporates. That's how I see it. BNB, same exact situation. Nobody's fucking using BNB. Nobody is using the chain, right? Like, nobody cares about that chain. There's an exchange, and exchanges on the side of China, right? So it's massively under that. So it's kind of the Chinese proponent here. So, and China is a huge market, and China needs to have vehicles, right, to kind of launder some dollars, right? So that's what's happening. So with sanctions and stuff like that, and trade with partners. Why? China is low on resources, so they need access to resources from many countries that are under sanctions, such as Russia, Iran, Venezuela, parts of Africa, etc. So Binance is the use case there, right? But again, that's a government use case. I'm talking about a retail use case. There's no freaking use case. XRP is a use case for corporates to launder as well. I'm talking about Web3, pure Web3 play, right? Like, these projects do not need to exist. Solana, meme coins, all this stuff, like, we are fast, we are etc. We are, high throughput. Again, for whom? For corporates, there's no fucking use case. Corporates don't need these fucking things. Like, they don't need that, right? Like, no, we will not be able to pressure the big monopolies to become more transparent. They survive because of the asymmetry of information. That's the business model. Asymmetry of information. If you want to make the information public, you thus diminishing the asymmetry of information to some extent, thus directly impacting negatively the business models of these companies. Makes no fucking sense. Circle, same boat as Tether, right? Tron, kind of the best use case for Tron is the holder of Tether in emerging countries. So it just got that market share. Now, Doge, I would argue, is a decentralized play, very similar to BTC, very similar to Ethereum, right? So what's the use case for Doge? Well, kind of very similar to Bitcoin, just cheaper transactions and a little bit, how to say, a different type of cultish community, right? Bitcoin also has its own cultish community. Dogecoin has its own. Cardano, like, nobody cares. Hyperliquid, okay, we are more decentralized than Coinbase, but we're still centralized. So we are 5% more decentralized than Coinbase. Congratulations, zero use case here. Bitcoin Cash, same as Bitcoin, like, but kind of a worse version of it. Chainlink, completely worthless fucking project. This is completely worthless project. Stellar, same as XRP, completely worthless. Monero, to some extent, more privacy oriented for sure. Definitely kind of, has an additional layer of privacy. Although Bitcoin is privacy oriented enough, but fine. We have Monero just in case. Now Zcash, was number 40, number 50, went up due to recent pumps. I think they're trying to overthrow Monero's market cap. That's kind of what they're fighting for. So this one is another centralized stablecoin, very similar to USDT and USDC, so whatever. Litecoin, very similar to Bitcoin Cash, very similar to Bitcoin, right? So one of the old ones. Avalanche, completely worthless project. Hedera, completely worthless project, no use case. Sui, no use case. DAI, decentral stablecoin, arguably better than all the other central stablecoins had it not been backed by Circle significantly. Shiba Inu, a meme coin with not a lot of utility here, to be honest, just amazing community. This is another centralized stablecoin. Kronos, completely fucking worthless. Tron, completely fucking worthless. PYUSD, even more worthless than all the other stablecoins. Uniswap, great product, decentralized exchange, trades a lot. Polkadot, great product, had a use case of essentially being a worthy product for small businesses and for large businesses, right? So has an interesting use case, definitely has great technology. Now, the reason why Polkadot is different from, let's assume, XRP is you can actually become a validator on Polkadot. It's not that difficult. So you can actually, like, it's permissionless enough given how many chains they are processing, but also has a little bit of an X, right? Like, and we discussed this, I believe, about 2 months ago regarding, what was the error of Polkadot from business case perspective. Mental, worthless, 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 worthless. Well, Aave is a lending borrowing protocol, so that's good. Worthless, worthless, worthless. Like, essentially, when we go through like the top, whatever, and then it gets only worse, right? But through the top 50 projects, kind of the real use cases that exist are Bitcoin, Ethereum. We have Tron, right, with Tether, therefore, right? So Tether is a use case, is a good use case, right, despite this being Web 2.5. Then Monero, then Zcash to some extent. Then we have DAI, right? So we have like maybe 6 projects or so, right, with actual real utility. Now, all the other market caps here are just pumped. And please disagree, right? Like, you don't have to listen to this and just say, okay, well, this guy is saying this, like, I just have to believe it. Please disagree, and let's maybe have a discussion in Wales regarding most of these projects, especially the ones that I just shit all over, saying that they have 0 use cases. But in most cases, they really have 0 use cases. Like, it's really not adding any, like, if these projects tomorrow disappear, your lives will not be worse. Like, nothing will change, right? Now, you can say, well, if Bitcoin disappears tomorrow, like, my life will also won't change. Well, okay, but sure, if you're not exposed to it, but if you are trying to find investment vehicles, currently investment assets to allocate your portfolios into, Bitcoin offers a pretty interesting collectible-like performance with very, very inelastic in the long-term supply, as we discussed, right? Inflationary in the short term, but it's going to be perfectly inelastic by 2140 in 115 years. So that is a use case, right? Like, right? Ethereum is a use case because you can, thanks to really rich ecosystem, bypass the centralized exchanges if you want to say trade from Ethereum to Link, and then from Link to Circle, and from Circle to DAI, right? So all those are ERC20 tokens you can trade directly through Uniswap, right? But Uniswap is being possible due to Ethereum, right? Now Uniswap has their own chain, has their own like bridges and stuff, but really all the trading is really happening on Ethereum, right? Like 90% of trading is Ethereum. So, so that there is a use case there. Okay, so we keep coming back to some of these topics about use cases and utilities, and the reason why that's important, and let me switch, is the more I'm reflecting on use cases that we have, partially being influenced by the Wales Wednesdays as well, and also significantly influenced by my experience with Web2. Well, obviously, KYC-less trading, that's obviously the first thing. So if you're just on one chain, that's cool. But if you would like to integrate Bitcoin chain, trade from Bitcoin to Tether, Tether to Bitcoin, Bitcoin from Bitcoin chain to Ethereum chain, from Ethereum chain to Tron chain. So that's okay. That we know, right? So that is perhaps the biggest use case. Now, how big is that use case? Well, it's humongous. Because the majority of, it would be nice to set up, the largest pairs, but the largest pairs will definitely be between Bitcoin Tether, Bitcoin Ethereum, Ethereum Tether, right? Those three pairs will probably, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Tether, Ethereum Tether. So these three uh, pairs probably correspond to 99% of all the real volume that is actually happening, right? So, of course, sporadically there's a new chain, and now on that specific day or on that specific month post launch, or there's some catalyst, and 1 week or 1 month after the catalyst, maybe that 99% percentage just drops a little bit to like 95%, right? But significant majority is those three pairs. And currently, there's no solution except for central exchanges that can accommodate those three traits because those three pairs, because those three pairs or those three tokens, therefore, right, coins/tokens exist on three different chains. So you have Bitcoin, BTC on Bitcoin, you have ETH on Ethereum, and then you have USDT on Tron. You also have USDT on Ethereum, but the largest trade again is Bitcoin to Tether on Tron. So we have three different chains, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tron. And there's not a single decentralized, purely decentralized solution that enabling those trades. Now, for us, and I'll cover this in the product roadmap as well. For us, the simpler integration will be first to proceed with Ethereum to Tron, kind of make sure that those two kind of chains can be bridged because both are EVM compatible. Tron is somewhat weirdly EVM compatible, but still is EVM compatible. So it's going to be a lot easier for us to integrate Tron. Then after this, we're going to go to UTXO, right? So that's kind of the game plan. Now, the other use case, so remember we just showed CMC20, the top 20 cryptos, right? Now, the reason why those indices are nice is because I don't know. So what's the logic for buying S&P 500? How come S&P 500 is outperforming most hedge funds and most asset managers? Well, idea goes like this. So when they analyzed Warren Buffett said that only 4% of his picks really made a difference to the portfolio. The reason why Berkshire Hathaway is doing so well compared to the S&P 500, compared to the index, is because 4% of stocks really made a difference. 96% of stocks were mediocre, below average, etc. So even for Warren Buffett it's only 4%, imagine how this one gentleman says, imagine what it is for us pure mortals, right? So we know nothing compared to the Oracle of Omaha. The guy has knowledge, the guy has experience, the guy has insights, the guy has connections, right? So lots of those factors together. So now the reason why S&P 500 is outperforming is, those 4% rare stocks, whenever they start performing, they will be added to the index. And if you are subject to the index, you are getting exposure to those amazing stocks that you will not be able to personally pick. So, kind of essentially, from 4% of 500 stocks is going to be what 20 stocks. So 20 stocks will be great, and then the other 480 stocks will be mediocre to below average. But you don't care because those 20 stocks will be really moving the needle, right? Like in this case, Magnificent Seven are 7 out of those 20 stocks. And then of course you have this unfair kind of advantage of being one of the major stocks in the index because you get disproportionate allocation from pension funds and stuff like that, right? So I believe the same idea goes towards CMC20. So idea goes like this: I don't know which crypto is going to do well. I just want to get exposure to top 20 cryptos because if a crypto is doing well, chances is going to be one of the top 20. Problem with that is, first of all, 20 is not enough. Secondly, there are lots of in those kind of CMC20. The first, most of those 20 cryptos are complete trash. Fundamentally total trash, such as XRP, for example, such as Link, such as Yunus Leo, whatever the hell that freaking project is. So they're complete trash. So the idea, therefore, is okay. Instead of CMC20, how about we create a pure Web3 index? So we're just going to be putting pure Web3 projects in it, and we can call it pure Web3 20 or pure Web3 10, whatever. So these projects may incorporate Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Uniswap, Monero, Ethereum Classic, etc. Now, how do you, if you're going to be buying CMC20, How are you going to be buying it? Well, you're going to be buying an index, right? But are you going to be actually owning Bitcoin? No, you're going to be owning an index, trusting a third party who will be collateralizing Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, etc., and through this collateral issuing shares of the ETF or DTF, how they call it, of CMC20. So the problem with CMC20 is they're trying to emulate the Web2 play for Web3 projects, right? It's kind of so, but you're not essentially you're holding exposure, but the exposure to those cryptos is subject to the credit risk, subject to all types of financial risks, in case the issuer fails to provide the proper collateral. And since we are in the Web3 space, which is highly unregulated and it's not supposed to be like held by a centralized party and then be distributed the exposures, of course, CMC20 will fail. But we could offer a pure Web3 index where you hold all the cryptos directly as part of that index. And it's possible only through the bridge or through a centralized exchange. Now, if you do the centralized exchange, you have KYC, you have freezing of the accounts, you get debanking if you then connecting your account, if you're essentially getting cash from those crypto exchanges, right? Now, with Ghost, you can get access to pure Web3 index of pure Web3 projects, and you will be fully controlling the keys. You will be fully controlling every single one of those cryptos. And that's a massive advantage. So you control the entire constituent substance set, right, of the pure Web3 index. And the reason why you'll be able to do this is because if it's a pure Web3 project, we probably need to bridge it, right? So we'll be able to bridge it, and therefore a person will be able to get the exposure, and we can kind of create a product around this, like a productize the weights, and essentially those weights will be just, like kind of help algorithmically purchase proportional weight of every single coin to make sure that it's a proper constituent. Like maybe it's going to be a market weighted index, maybe it's going to be equal weighted index, whatever. Depending on that, like that's could be another product. And of course, BTC staking, that's a massive use case as well. ETH staking too, but BTC staking is probably way more relevant because ETH staking, you can get it to some extent by either writing proof of stake on the Ethereum or being part of the pair, Ethereum Tether, Ethereum DAI, Ethereum Circle, Ethereum Wrap BTC, right? So you can essentially get some type of staking on Ethereum side. But BTC staking, nobody really offers that, and we can offer that. Now, there's a wrapped BTC token, but wrapped BTC token is, again, we need to trust the issuer that the issuer is not going to fuck it up. Now, with BTC stake, you don't have to trust anybody, right? Because you wrapping Bitcoin on the Bitcoin chain via decentralized set of validators, you're getting your GBTC on Ghost. You're then staking your GBTC with Ghost on the Ghost DEX. And that way you have a pair that pays you DEX fees. So you're essentially staking your Bitcoin. While getting exposure, while holding your Bitcoin, right? Like you're not selling it, you're holding it, and you're also earning fees on this. So this is a massive freaking use case right there. Now, of course, we can extend BTC staking to Doge staking, to Monero staking, and so on and so forth, which is quite exciting. So those are some of the initial use cases, some expanded use cases, and there's definitely more. And then, of course, the question is like, between Ghost with these real use cases, like people actually need this, right? Well, that's the assumption, versus like, oh, let's invest in fucking XRP because XRP is faster, throughput is faster because we need 1 million transactions per second. Nobody fucking needs 1 million transactions per second. That's the whole point. Nobody fucking needs it because enterprise not going to be using it. They don't need to use it. They don't want to be transparent. So why would they ever be migrating their transactions on chain? It's just stupid. And also, it's coming from a complete misunderstanding of what blockchain is. Blockchain is not a decentralized database, kind of storing all the data points, right? Blockchain is a decentralized database storing the timestamps of transactions, right? So that's what it is. It's not meant to store every single piece of data, like Google Drive. Like it's really not meant for that. Mr. Adike is asking a question. Ms. Adike is asking, am I correct in concluding that your point is in alignment with the chains we're considering deploying on? That is the only real question. In what order do we integrate them into bridging? The community will be deciding it, and the community will be deciding it based on the RPCs. We discussed this on Wales Wednesdays. this last Wednesday, it's going to be a consideration between how many RPC endpoints we as a set of validators want to run. It's probably most likely going to be a cost benefit analysis. So, okay, so do I need to run Tron? Because Tron will cost me, I don't know, extra $50 of electricity every month, and a new machine for, I don't know, $2,000, right? So I spend $2,000 one-time payment, and I'm spending $50 on electricity per month. So that's $600 per year. So over the course of 10 years, my investment is $2,000 plus $6,000. That's $8,000. That's my 10-year investment. Am I, as a validator, going to make more than 10 grand in transaction fees by integrating Tron? If the answer is yes, let's integrate it. Now, if the answer is no, then screw Tron. Fuck that tether. We're not going to do it, right? And we say, like, because each validator will have to spend 10 grand. Of course, I'm over exaggerating, like I'm really inflating the prices, but I'm saying like the worst case scenario. Because if we are running, say, 20 chains, bridging 20 chains, then we'll probably have to be, again, if you're just having one validator, you don't have any issues, the RPC endpoint will be, public RPC endpoint will be sufficient. But if you're running 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 nodes to get kind of a bigger allocation of the validator fees, then you'll probably have to be running your personal RPC endpoints, private ones, and that way it will be extra cost on electricity, on potential internet throughput, and also on the hardware. And in that case, it's a cost-benefit analysis that all of us as a community will be deciding on. But my feel is telling me that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tron will 99% will be integrated. As far as the other Uniswap is going to be integrated because it's on Ethereum, so Uniswap is there. Ethereum Classic will probably get integrated. We'll probably just be asking community's help to run public RPC endpoints from Ethereum Classic. They'll do that. Same thing with Monero. Same thing potentially with Zcash. So some of those smaller Web3 projects may potentially help us pulse as well. Some of those smaller Web3 projects may potentially help us just expand on the RPCs, right? And that way we'll solve the problem because everybody's benefiting. So those are going to be some thinking points here. Okay, so now, okay, so what's the point of saying, we have massive utility? Well, we have massive utility, and the more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm realizing we don't really need to tap. We don't really need to put that much effort into educating the uneducatable. I think that's where I'm going with that, right? So again, all this realization happened that yes, Ghost is difficult. Yes, Web3 is difficult. Well, guess what? It's fucking working. Web2 just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You just have to like flip a coin and hope for the best. Fingers crossed. And that's not the world I want to live in. And last 6 weeks just show it's like it's showing to me on purpose that I need to fucking spend 20, which I'm spending already. Keep spending 24/7 to make sure Ghost is there because there's nothing better right now than using centralized exchanges, and that sucks. That's a messed up world, and we can change it. So let's go to the next slide. So this is from last week. So I'm more and more understanding that level 3 and level 4s, yes, the great people, they need to upgrade themselves to level 2s or level 1s, or we cannot spend time. And let me explain why we cannot spend time on them. We just don't have time. If you're going to be engaging, and I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but it was definitely the focus last year and a half. Well, actually, since 2022, like we've been engaging everybody. We've been trying to find who's the right person, who's the right kind of target audience, demographic, etc. And if I say something that will offend somebody, please, guys, forgive me. I apologize in advance. But we need to focus level 1s, level 2s. If you're not going to focus level 1s, level 2s, it's going to be another 10 years before we fucking launch. Here's why. So before, historically, there has been multiple phases of the launch. So of course we have the idea first, the ideation stage, then we develop the mock-up designs, then we prepare the tokenomics, make sure that all works, then we prepare the product, then we launch it, and then we spend almost the same amount of time engaging audience for that product. So let's assume we spend 6 months building a product. We'll spend another 6 months, if not a year, engaging audience around this product. The best example right now is Ghost Light Node. I guarantee, I fucking guarantee that absolute majority of whales, absolute majority of node validators have never even logged in, or if they have logged in, they logged in like once and checked it once. And it's not that you have to go and check it now, like for the second time. Let's go and check. But most of you guys like didn't check it, right? Like, and that's a whole new product. Maybe we failed to write guides, but again, like, if everything has to be about guides, like we cannot write every single little detail about the guides, because when we do, we appealing to level 3 and level 4, and that's what we should be avoiding. We should be going for level 1s and level 2s. That's it. And it may sound like, oh, we're not capturing, huge part of the audience. Thing is, we're not capturing them anyways, because if they're not willing to spend their valuable time, and some of their time is actually valuable, to upgrade themselves to level 2s, I'm sorry. Like, it's an unequal exchange. So here's why. So these are the ghost deliverables that are remaining. I just wanted to outline them. Because again, I started realizing how much shit we have to do. And if you're going to be engaging every single thing like we engaged before, so we spend 6 months on the product, and then we have to engage 6 months the audience, because the audience just doesn't give a shit. I mean, that's just not going to work. And the reason why it's not going to work, the reason why it kind of didn't work before, really, right? Like as far as time, and we could have done a lot more, is because we didn't really focus much on level 1s. We should be bringing more devs. Like actual devs, not people who call themselves devs, actual devs, right? And we have the whole we work on this on the background. I'm personally updating databases every night. Customers reaching out based on this database. So we are going to start bringing more and more devs. We need to bring level 1s who will be able to test shit within a week, because we all have 6 months to test a feature. Why? Because we have that many features, and that's just Ghost Chain. That's not Ghost DAO, that's just Ghost Chain. So let's go through this, right? So EVM. So Bridgend, second attempt, launched with CASPER 5.0. Let's see how it goes. Let's try to break it. Breaking is good, okay? But what else is remaining for the EVM chains? Well, Bridge Out, which is more complicated than Bridgend, a lot more complicated, right? And if we have issues with Bridgend, imagine how many issues we're going to have with Bridge Out. And we need to test shit fast. Bridge In could have been tested 6 fucking months. Well, whenever we launched it, not 6 months ago, but you got it, right? Like 3 months ago. And some guys helped us test it, and you guys, right? But we need to test it more. We need to break it in the first week so we can start changing the design. We have spent so much time on engaging, right? That we didn't really spend much time on testing. Now, we cannot test every single feature. Like, the community needs to help us test it. But if the community is level 3s, they're not going to be able to fucking test anything. They're just clicking the fucking buttons based on the guide. But the whole point with testing is the guide writes out scenarios that work. We need to make sure that users trigger scenarios that are not in the guide. And that's the whole point. For example, Scorpion and Star Protocol, that crew, they broke shit down. I think it's great, right? They completely fucking broke shit down. But that's exactly why we found out some bugs, right? So that's a great thing. So who will be able to help us with this? Just level 1s and level 2s. If you're gonna be level 3, like I don't know, I cannot even follow the fucking guide. I mean, yes, but I don't think we have much time for these people anymore. Because why? Because if we will be engaging them again on the team level, right? We won't be able to get to everything else which is in red. We just won't have time. And it's going to take us another 10 years just to deploy this fucking thing, okay? So we need to really start working on time management. And the community at large, outside of the team, needs to take over and respond to level 3s and level 4s if they want those level 3s and level 4s to be part of the community, okay? So that goes back to all these realizations finally kind of gathering into one dot. So Bridge Out is going to be more complicated. Now, the other thing is bridging feature function. By the way, these are not all the features. This is just like some high-level features. Like if we are to break it down based on the tasks and the tickets, each one of these is going to be like it's infinite. Like Bridge Out is just infinite. Bridge Out on which chain, right? Like it's going to be Bridge Out on different chains is going to be different. Even on different EVMs is going to be like Tron, for example, is a subset of EVM. So EVM is here, but then it's a subset of EVM. Tron will have its own things, right? Like this is like a super high level example right now. And of course, testing. So testing we started somewhat doing, so that's why it's in yellow. But these two, Bridge Out is also yellow because it's almost finished. It's not red, it's really yellow. But bridging fee function, we've been delaying this since summer. Like we've been thinking about this, but not that much time because we focusing a lot on engaging the audience, and we just don't have time. And we need to get to work, right? Like we need to keep doing this thing. So you guys as community members, you need to, either engage level 3s, level 4s, or we won't have time. We're just not going to be doing it. Like I'm going to be kind of, officially, of course, if you have, 3-5 minutes every day, we'll be responding to some stuff, but do not do not treat us not responding as us ignoring the group. We just don't have time. Okay. Because we need to deliver everything else. Now on the governance level, that's going to come, I would say first quarter of 2026, probably second quarter of 2026, as far as kind of the fruition, but the thinking has to start first quarter. Ghost called exactly what it is, right? Like what are the levels, what are the GMV holdings, etc. Who is included, how to promote, how to reject, and stuff like that. That's we have some thoughts, but the community has to bring in stuff. Like we can, again, how to say, we can launch it very fast if we need to. Thing is, let's launch it better. Let's launch it creatively. For that, community needs to realize what the fuck's happening. If it takes us to write a guide about Ghost Cold, level 3, level 4 will come in, read the guide, and say, oh, I don't understand it. That's not what we need. We need people to start contributing. People need to contribute. Okay? Level 1 will be able to contribute. Level 2, teaching. Through teaching, they'll be able to learn, and thus, after they learn, they'll be able to contribute as well. We need contributions now. Okay? We need contributions. We'll definitely be doing our fair share of explanations, but the contributions must start happening. And contributions cannot just be, oh, I think out of my ass. With all due respect, we don't care about those opinions. We need more or less verified opinions are great, more or less verified opinions, meaning more or less educated opinions. I've read this, I've read this, I've read this, I've read this. I have a question. I've read this, I've read this, I've read this, I've read this. I have a feedback, right? But it's like somewhat educated, not just, oh, would be nice, would be nice, this somebody, included, what, like this somebody was a deaf for the last 20 years. How about I'll bring that deaf to the team and he'll be able to solve something. Like he won't be able to solve shit because he didn't dive into the subject. He has no idea about Web3 and chance that he's not even a deaf in the first place. Like no discussions like this. Contributions ahead of everything else. We're not going to be trusting anybody like, oh, I have this guy who is really knowledgeable. If he she's really knowledgeable, come in and contribute. Based on the contributions, we'll be able to judge if he's valuable or not. Okay. Before this, zero fucking value. Okay. As far as we cannot trust anybody's opinions anymore, right? We just don't have time for this. So Ghost Cold will require some contributions. Now, governance functions to some extent kind of easy. What possible is not possible with this. So I would say this is, to be honest, also yellow. But governance thresholds. So again, if you want to launch it, quick and dirty, we can just make it green because we know with all three of them, we can just, we know exactly what to do. But we would like to be creative, right? So governance thresholds, for example, and some of those examples will be kind of sharing with you guys, but it would be nice for you to start thinking about this yourselves. It's like, what's the minimum quorum required to make a proposal? Like, is it 40% for Uniswap? Is it 80%? Is it 90%? Is it 95%? Okay, what happens if nobody comes in? Now you guys will start throwing, oh, I think 51% is nice. Okay, but let's start thinking one step ahead. Okay, 51% is good. Okay, that's the governance threshold for any single decision. Perfect. What if 51% of people just do not show up for whatever reason, and it's a very timely proposal that has to take place next week? What do we do? How do we rework it? What are the next steps, right? So it's not just a typical governance fucking function. Like, it's a Web3 thing, right? Like, it has to live. Inspirations can be taken from Polkadot. Inspirations can be taken from other DAOs, right? You read that stuff, and then you come prepared, right? Of course, you have your own feedback, your own thoughts, your own experiences. And when you match those two, that's the value. But you must be educated first, and you need to educate yourselves. Do not treat whales as a source of education only. You have Google. God Google, you have God ChatGPT, and God Grok, and DeepSeek, and Gemini, and everything else. And of course, testing, right? Now, for UTXO, which will be will be definitely launched later, but same things as EVMs, bridge in, bridge out, Ghost DEX. Let's not forget that has to be, and also testing. So imagine if every single one of those features takes 6 months to test. Guys, like let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 multiplied by 6 months. That's going to be 5 years. And that's why shit is being delayed, by the way. Right? Like stuff is done. But we spent a lot of time on engaging, and I understood that we just cannot afford this anymore. We just can't. Because I understood the most important thing. The use cases that we have are so appealing, and the APYs that we'll be providing for bridging are so high that if level 3s don't want to learn, with all due respect, we just don't have time for them because validators will rush to this themselves. Like my realization happened that if there are bridging fees, validator set will be like will flood the network tomorrow, literally tomorrow, and they'll be pumping the e-ghost on the ghost DAO in order to get in. The project is successful, so it's like positive loop cycle. So therefore, we just need to finish it, get a little bit of adoption first, like a little bit of adoption, and just go right. So that's kind of my new thinking about this. Now on the ghost DAO side, let's check this out. So native backing. So some of those are yellow but not tested because we didn't have much time, right? So we need to test new EVMs like Ethereum Classic, make sure that works, and Mortar, or maybe Pulse, Gnosis, whatever. RP also like selecting a chain. Oh, let's select a chain. Let's spend like 6 months trying to engage Pulse. Let's spend another 6 months trying to engage Ethereum Classic. Let's spend another 6 months trying to engage Gnosis. We just don't have fucking time for this. If like the thing is like if there's no Pulse, if there's no Gnosis, Classic, whatever, okay, no problem. We'll just deploy on Sepolia. We'll have Sepolia, we'll have Mortar. That's it. That's enough. We cannot be spending 6 months on every single fucking thing anymore. Otherwise, it is gonna take like forever for us to launch. Okay. That's my realization. RPC endpoints as well, same thing. Ask questions. How to add your custom RPC endpoint. You'll be preparing guides for that too. We'll ask questions since you need to be deploying your RPC endpoints very fast. It takes 6 months for that. Okay, you're wasting your time, right? Kind of level 1 people will be able to figure this out within 2 weeks at most because they need to buy the machine, they need to buy the right adapter, making sure electricity doesn't cost that much, right? It's going to be a money question for them, not a development question. For most of you guys, level 2s actually, it's going to be mostly a technical question, right? It's not going to be a money question, it's going to be a technical question. So you need to up your games and figure this shit out faster if you want to. Up to you, you don't have to, I'm just saying. Then of course we need to test everything, right? Make sure it's all working. So I would say this is kind of done, but we also need to test bonds, right? Like we need to test the APYs and stuff like that. Now the governance. The governance is the next thing that we would like to do end of December, definitely end of January as far as like more or less finished thing. So on the Ghost DAO side, governance functions, governance thresholds, very similar to what I just described for the Ghost chain, and also user interfaces, and then testing. Okay, so those are, I wouldn't say they're red, they're definitely like I would also say they're yellow, but let me make it kind of more critical, just so you guys understand the kind of the reason for my reaction. Now for P Ghost, tokenomics planning, okay, done. Maybe it's green even. But cross-chain reclaim, that's for council members only. User interfaces as well for P Ghost. The idea is this: the idea is to finish P Ghost, finish governance and Ghost DAO, make sure native backend works. Because if that's all working, then the council, if they want to, they can launch Ghost DAO. Okay, and the idea will be to tell the council, by end of first quarter of 2026, if they want to launch it, they can launch it. Right, so they'll be able to launch Ghost DAO. Now the Ghost DAO will be launched with all GMVs, right? That has to happen so that tokenomics is not impacted. And even if the chain is not ready fully, from perspective of bridge out, the bridging will be there, right? By the way, bridge out will be there too. So kind of the MVP can be launched end of first quarter 2026. That's what I'm striving for. And the council will be deciding, are they ready to launch or not? Okay. And it's going to be a reality check of what else needs to happen on the adoption side. It's one thing to expect, the team to figure this kind of all this out, but it's another thing to, okay, now everything is ready, fucking launch it, guys. And something is telling me the council will not be able to launch it. And something is telling me the council will start just finally get to the reality check. Oh shit, that's what we need on the adoption side, and they'll start kind of being more mobilized. Although lately, last 18 months. Actually, last year, council has been doing way better than before. Okay, so Now, the upcoming articles that, well, I wouldn't say I'm working on all of them, but they're on the to-do list. Vita Money is, oh my goodness, I cannot even get to it because we're so busy with everything else. But Ghost DAO governance, so this article will be prepared for sure. I would like to start discussing validated slashing in more detail. Essentially, what are the reasons for slashing on the side of the ghost chain, also on the side of the bridging, specific reasons, specific formulas, right? Validated rewards, right? Same thing, how the rewards are being allocated. So some of you guys know how this works with points and stuff, point system on the ghost chain side and also on the bridging side, but I would like to kind of write this out. So these two are going to be either articles, separate articles, or sections in the guides that Cosmos prepared. APY backing. So lots of questions have been about how APYs are being backed. There's Ghost DAO APY, there's bridging APY. So since there are questions, we need to probably kind of expand on that. So it's probably going to be a separate article. Ideal ghosty, 10 qualities of an ideal ghosty. That's essentially level 1, level 2. Like that's what it is. And level 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's another article that I would like to write. Now, talking about contributions. So Mr. IDK, who is a frequent guest, if I can say, and the crew that he represents. I mean, they have been, very instrumental. I just would like to emphasize one thing that maybe some of you guys don't realize, and those of you who will be listening to it, just please pay attention. So 1 second, can I? 1 second, will you be able to see it? Yeah. So maybe some of you guys didn't realize, but what we added finally is the author, right? So like, for example, the author here is Cosmos. Like lots of you guys don't realize, but Cosmos has been heading the majority of these blog posts, and he's a community member. He's not a team member. And we started putting the authors. We also added this thing. The blog is a community owned during platform, right? So the articles posts all content published here are solely the express opinions of individual authors. Cosmos Speaks, that's the column of Cosmos, just articles posted by him that have been quite aggressive, and lots of you guys like them. So that has been Cosmos. Most of the guides, if not all the guides, being written by Cosmos, except for Dexys and kind of the math stuff. That's myself and the team. So what I'm trying to say is like this project, if you want to contribute, you can contribute. You just have to start contributing. And it has to be on a systematic basis to make sure that we're not wasting time. Because again, we just don't have time. That's my realization. So kind of my realization was like this. The use cases are so fucking attractive that validators will flood. And since validators will flood, all we have to do is just make sure that it's kind of okay for level 1s to run it. If level 1 can run it, level 2s have to figure it out. Level 3s, level 4s, I'm sorry. You're not the right audience. You're just not the fucking right audience. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. You may be aligned, kind of intellectually and kind of vision wise, but if you're not willing to upgrade yourself over the course of some time, and it's difficult, I understand, but if you're not willing to upgrade yourselves, because all of us started at level 4. Everybody started level 4. I started as level 4. Okay, we all upgraded ourselves. It was not that, I was born level 2. No, we all started level 4. Some of us decided to upgrade, some not, right? So since the validators will be flooding the network, we just need to make it okay for level 1s. Level 2s have to figure it out. We have to make it kind of okay for level 2s, but not really worry that much. Who we have to optimize it for is the user. That's it. The actual user who will be using it. And sometimes level 3 or level 4 say, we are the users. We're not technical, but we're going to be the users. And that's a falsy fucking thing. Because level 3 or level 4 have no idea why they need this solution. It's not that they cannot sleep at night because there's no, KYC-less index of pure Web3 projects, right? They cannot sleep at night because they cannot convert Bitcoins to Tether, right? Level 3s, level 4s have no fucking idea about crypto. They're not the user. The user is somebody who literally cannot sleep at night. And oftentimes it's level 1 and level 2. They cannot sleep at night thinking, fuck, I'm tired of Web 2. Web 2 is just killing me. Web 2.5 is not solving my problems because they integrate with Web 2. I need a Web 3 solution. It does not exist. Please. Like, I'll break my leg. It's going to be inconvenient. I don't care. I just need an answer. I just need a solution, even if it's super fucking inconvenient. Level 3 to level 4s come in and say we need super good UX. And that's exactly the faulty thing. And we're not going to be optimizing for them anymore. Okay? So I think that's the message. Yeah, I think I'm done with this. So hopefully it was a little bit more clear on kind of the direction for the next. I would say it's 2 quarters. We'll see how that goes. First and second quarter, or end of this quarter, 2025, and first and second quarter 2026. We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be extremely more efficient because we already started the preparation about 2 weeks ago, and the results. The reason why the bridge end was redesigned so fast is due to the fact that we started focusing on level 1s and level 2s mentally, and it just changed the game. It just changed the game. So in any case, happy holidays again to those who celebrate. See you guys next week. That's it. Upgrade to CASPER 5.0 ASAP.